Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Stranger Days. And I am not going to lie. I am so glad I don't go to any college or university right now, that I graduated well over a decade ago, because I feel like it would be probably one of the worst experiences on the planet to be a college student in current year. And I don't foresee this going away anytime at all in the near future. No matter how many YouTube videos come out decrying campus culture, campus crazies, and the weirdness that happens there, it's not going to change for quite some time. Why? Because it's well, in my opinion, a systemic issue that goes all the way back to the late 90s, when all of a sudden all these kids started getting gold stars just from wiping from front to back. I mean, when you start giving everyone a participation trophy, it just removes all semblance of competition, which then breeds entitlement. And that's kind of where we find ourselves with this particular story, where artists on college campuses who were creating an anti-racist display got shut down by the university because, well, wait for it was deemed racist. And the exhibits artists insist that they're not. Mary Baldwin University has shut down an anti-racist art exhibit after students complained that some images were racist. The exhibit's artists supported the decision, but also defended the art, saying it was misunderstood and wasn't racist. Yes, 9 times out of 10, most things that are perceived as racist aren't racist. Now, if you go on a live stream and you repeatedly drop the N-bomb while referring to a 3-year-old child and hope that his neck gets broke so he doesn't then later on grow up to attack, rape, and kill white people, yeah, that's pretty racist, right? That's a pretty racist thing to say. I don't care who you are. But for the most part, most things are not racist. Maybe bigoted, maybe in some cases prejudice, maybe ignorance in some cases, but definitely not always racist. But the problem with it is that that word is now synonymous with anything that even remotely hints in that direction, whether it is on purpose or not on purpose. It's a word that is used it's a blanket catch-all word. It's been killed as much as, well, misogynist and sexist has been killed in many circles because it gets overused. Every little thing is racist. White girl raps to a rap song, drops the N-bomb. Racist. And she doesn't think of it that way. She probably wasn't meaning to be racist. She was just singing along to a song she likes, and her brain just keeps going with it because that's just how we do things, through repetition. Just saying. Anyway, I don't think this guy's a racist. I don't think most people are racist, but there are racist individuals, 100%. And in some cases, they get called, non-racists get branded as such because they want to talk about the concept of racism. Now, the Staunton, Virginia-based university removed the exhibit after 2 days and released a statement promising to hold a series of listening sessions in the near future that will allow students an opportunity to share their feelings in response to the exhibit and their hopes for an inclusive community. Yeah, okay. This is what I hate about these listening sessions. It's just the campus going like, God damn it. We have to do this again. We have to do this again. We have to sit there and listen to these kids who don't know what it's like to not live with a silver spoon in their butt, all talk about diversity and inclusion because they don't understand subtext, and they don't try to understand subtext, and they don't try to understand motivations of other people. They don't try to walk a mile in their shoes or listen to their stories, all while demanding that their stories be listened to, while demanding that their shoes be walked in. Isn't it kind of a weird thing? I talked about this yesterday in the whole UK video about them maybe making misandry a hate crime, is that equality, motherfucker, is a two-way street. If you do it, you got to live by that rule. You got to live by that rule, but they don't like to. They really, really, really don't like to. Now, this exhibit titled Relevant/Scrap concerned Confederate monuments that are displayed across much of the southern United States. The artwork displayed depictions of the statues, some of them turned into other images and mixed with other materials. So it's transformative work. It's this statue now becomes this other thing through the power of transformation. And, clearly there's a trans student there that's going to be very upset because they didn't follow it up with, robots in disguise or something. Now, the artists, here's the big problem. The artists are two white people who grew up in the South, and they say that the exhibit reflects their awareness that these monuments, glorified by some, are deeply hurtful to others and contribute to distortions of U.S. history, which I would argue is a fair representation of that, right? The Confederate monuments are a recalling of history. They take us back to a time where I don't think 99.8% of Americans want to go back to, right? Yeah, you have your ethnostatists and your alt-righters, and they want to go to a simpler time when they could own a person or have their own space where they keep the darkies out. That's what they want. And it's a stupid idea. It's a dumb idea. It's never going to happen. We cannot be the melting pot of the world and deny certain cultures. It doesn't really work that way. I'm sorry, guys. Besides, if you lived in an ethno state, you couldn't get Mexican food. It would be illegal because it's another culture. Think about that. Think about that. Taco Bell is predominantly American, so you'd probably be okay, but would you really want to live the rest of your life on Taco Bell? God, no. But anyway, the statues are hurtful to some people, and I understand that. I don't care one way or the other if the statues are up, if they're down. I would rather that these things not be, if they are moved down, to be put into a museum that has an open display, rather than shuffled off to some warehouse somewhere. And some of these cases, they are put in a museum. In other cases, they are shuffled off to a warehouse. History is there to remind us to never go, to learn from our past mistakes and to not go back. And people interpret their emotions and their feelings about that and how they want to approach that lesson that history teaches us differently. And these artists did it through this type of transformative work, which again is not a problem. But because some people on campus got triggered as a result of these things existing, of photographs existing, by the way, photographs, people, right? Photographs. So I want to remind you, it's a picture. Triggered with a picture. God, I hate our country. I hate our society sometimes. All right. So it says here that the artists released a statement after the university took down the art, stating that they agreed with the decision to close the exhibit, while also claiming the art had not been understood correctly, saying, "We assure you that we are neither in agreement with the ideology of the lost cause nor racist, as many of the students called us. Our intention with this work is to use art making process to create an aesthetic experience of the problematic challenge of reimagining spaces where the monuments to the Confederacy currently reside in Richmond." Basically just meaning that they understand that there's a problem looking at these statues, right? Some people want them down, some people want them up. There's kind of this weird thing. And then they take them down, there's going to be a vacuum. And it's this, you can see what they're attempting to do. Does any of that scream racism? No, it's just they're approaching it from a different thought process. That's all it is. But students, they need a listening session because they were so triggered by pictures of Confederate monuments. As God forbid they saw one in real life, what would they do? What would they do? Would they shut down? Would they scream to the heavens? No! Is that what would happen? Probably. How are kids, how are they this absolutely triggered over this stuff? I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's not like it was 150 years ago, right? We're all glad that it's over. I'm not saying like move on from it, learn from it, understand it, but realize that it can't hurt you. It cannot hurt you. People can, tangible objects can. A statue that hasn't moved in nearly a century cannot. So a picture of it is not like going to be like The Ring. You look at it 7 days later, you're not going to die. It's just, it's so stupid. Now, they say here, and this is where they apologize, and I really hate this here. "One mistake we made was being naive in the assumption that viewers reading our statement and viewing the work would understand our position on both the nature of the monuments to the Confederacy and our constructive intentions. In the statement, the university displayed an image of an empty area where the display was previously put." So they basically are saying, look, we're sorry. And clearly people didn't understand our intentions with this. Clearly people didn't get the art, which could be argued a couple different ways, to be fair. Maybe the artwork was just not was not dumbed down enough, right? Maybe it didn't look like She-Ra from the new Netflix series, where it's very simple animation. You understand what you're looking at. There's no complexity. There's no real definition of any type of actual physical form outside of maybe an anatomical Ken doll. You know exactly what it is. Nothing there is left to the imagination. Obviously, nothing there is left to the imagination. Maybe that's the problem, is the kids need to be taught about these statues from the perspective of She-Ra type art, where it's just lazy and it's there's nothing really behind it. There's no message. It's just cheap. And I guess maybe effective. I don't know. But the fact that the artists apologized for it is just sad, right? I would be fighting if I were them. They did nothing wrong. Whether or not I agree with their statement, they still did nothing wrong. They still did nothing that was considered to be illegal, immoral, improper, terrible. They expressed themselves freely, which is part of our Bill of Rights, part of our Constitution, part of our culture here. But some students got mad. They got triggered by it. They got so upset that they need listening spaces, listening sessions by the university. Because if they don't have them, they're just gonna every night they're just gonna have the monuments wake them up in the dreams like Freddy Krueger in a movie. It's. I mean, yeah, I'm being hyperbolic and over the top, and I admit that, but still, goddamn, guys, god damn it, how are you so sensitive to this? Like, it's a picture, it's art. You know, I mean, like, just let it exist. I don't like hentai at all. It's creepy as fuck, but it has a right to exist. I just don't have to like it. You don't have to like the Confederate statues. Cool beans, don't like them. But if the artists are trying to like express themselves, how they feel about them in a way, for being people who grew up there and where these statues are, I guess in terms of heritage versus history and how it's perceived, and they express themselves in very interesting ways. But no, you got mad because that's where we are right now. And if one person gets mad, then the whole thing is taken down. You guys are great. Doing a good job there, preaching that tolerance. And of course, the university is not going to say anything. They're not going to stand up for the artists' rights. They're not going to stand up for free expression, because what would that be on a college campus these days, right? All right. Anyway, what do you guys think about this? Let me know down in the comments. Is this ridiculous? Is this the right play? Is this just another example of how we're screwed as a species? Giant Meteor 2021, essentially. And let me know down in the comments. Be sure to write statue so I know. I know you guys made it this far. And please thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, and check back often for more content from me. If you want to support the channel, Patreon, do that. Great way, helps out. And I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.